Domo arigato, geek to me radio, da 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 da. Domo arigato, geek to me radio, da 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 da.
Hello, St. Louis. Welcome to the first ever Geek to Me radio show. Right here on 1260 The Answer. Very excited. Got a lot of stuff happening. Jeff Annison from Legion M, the co-founder, will be calling in to talk about that project, and we'll have much more. Allons-y!
We're talking TV, comics and movies, and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek from Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors for Hogwarts houses, one ring rules them all. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
All right. That was the show intro. The vocals on that were my friend Andy. So thank you to Andy for coming in and recording that last night. I appreciate it. Just to give you a brief idea of what the show is about. This is Geek to Me Radio. We talk all things pop culture with an emphasis on comic books, TV shows, movies, and video games. So if any of that sounds like your particular brand of vodka, stay tuned. We've got a lot in store for you. The show started as a segment called It's All Geek to Me, encapsulated in another show on another station, and it kind of grew legs from there. Got an online presence going, and now here we are in our own full-blown show. If anyone would like to call in, the studio lines are toll-free 844-726-9922. Joey V's right across me. He's going to answer the phones, get everyone plugged in, and a big thanks to him, too, for helping make the show sound as good as it does thus far. I'd like to thank my sponsors right off. We'll start with Historic St. Charles. That's St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau. If you've ever been down that way, or you've probably been down for Christmas, I'm sure. It's the biggest Christmas festival in the country. Goes on every year down there. And Joe Ward, Elizabeth Phelps, Karen Godfrey, Jim Dreyer, all those folks over there. Big thanks to them for sponsoring the show. Also, Hendel's Restaurant. Fantastic food. It's a little jewel tucked away up there in North County in the Florissant, the Old Town area. Great food. We'll be talking more about all these sponsors at length. But thank you to Hendel's Restaurant. Nate and Chris, thank you so much. And of course, the official comic book store of Geek to Me Radio, the Fantasy Shop. 4 locations around the St. Louis area. FantasyShopOnline.com. And of course, for all my sponsors, you can always go to the website, geektomeradio.com. Sponsors tabs are all up there in the upper left-hand corner. For those of you listening online or using the TuneIn Radio app, welcome to you. If you're not in the St. Louis area, we appreciate your listening to this, the inaugural edition. A lot of stuff going on. There's a lot to talk about. Constant content coming in. The TV shows. Right now, they're all in summer hiatus, which means I'm able to catch up on my Netflix shows. I'm currently binging Breaking Bad, which if you haven't seen it, my gosh, put it in your queue. Fantastic show, Breaking Bad. Bryan Cranston just blows me away each performance on that show. If you've not seen it, you should. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of shows will be coming back in the fall, though. Here's a quick rundown. September 19th, Gotham returns to Fox for their 3rd season. Show kind of a multiverse, a different universe take on the Batman origin. Young Bruce Wayne, first episode of the series, sees his parents killed, and you know what happens from there, but this is the in-between story that we haven't really dealt with before, showing the Bruce Wayne growing up and all the other stuff that's been happening in Gotham at this time. So it's a very interesting show. In the DC Comics world, there's also Arrow, coming back on October 5th on the CW for season, I believe this is season 5 for Arrow, starting up here soon. Great show. Kind of the origin, the touchstone for all these other shows that have spun off on the CW. The Flash spun off of Arrow. Grant Gustin plays the Scarlet Speedster. That show will be returning on October 4th. iZombie, which is not really crossed over yet, but it's still in that DC realm. It's from the Vertigo series. iZombie is a really fantastic show. It's almost like a police procedural with a zombie twist. You can check that out. I believe that's coming back on Tuesday nights. I know The Flash comes back on October 4th. Don't know if iZombie is coming back on that same time or if it'll be a bit of a delay. Supergirl, brought over from CBS onto the CW. That comes back on October 10th. And of course, Supernatural, for all of you who like that show, that's coming back October 13th. The Walking Dead on AMC. Everyone likes The Walking Dead. This is one of the few shows that actually beats out Sunday Night Football in the ratings. The Walking Dead comes back for their 7th season on October 23rd. And Luke Cage, if you're on the Netflix binge, Luke Cage, which is the third direct property from Marvel, started out with Daredevil, then Jessica Jones. We've had Daredevil season 2 already. Jessica Jones is getting a second season. Luke Cage premieres September 30th on Netflix. We'll go into more of those other shows as the time progresses. Movies out. It's summer. A lot of big movies out. Just saw Suicide Squad. I didn't hate it. It was pretty good. Honestly, Suicide Squad, DC kind of took a chance. It's like their version of Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of people, when Guardians of the Galaxy came out from Marvel, no one had heard of it. And it went on to have the biggest August box opening of any any movie ever. And Suicide Squad could be on track to beat it. So far, their Thursday night previews combined with their Friday total, Suicide Squad brought in $65.1 million. And they're targeted to make anywhere between 138 to 145 million opening weekend, which will break Guardians of the Galaxy's record. Right now, with no Saturday or Sunday box office sales, they're at number 5. So we'll see where it goes from there. Will Smith, Margot Robbie, Viola Davis, and of course, Jared Leto as the Joker. Tell you what, if you saw Suicide Squad, give us a call. Let us know what you think. Number to call in is 844-726-9922. Joey V will take your call. Let us know what you thought of the new Suicide Squad movie. You can read my review, geektomeradio.com. Hit the WordPress tab up in the upper right-hand corner, and you can check out my review there. The Joker, I don't think was needed in that movie. I just came off seeing The Killing Joke, which was released in theaters through Fathom Events. And Mark Hamill, to me, is the Joker. So it's a little hard to reconcile the two. Jared Leto owned the role, did a great job, but it wasn't my Joker. Not to say it was a bad version, just wasn't my particular favorite. Yeah, Margot Robbie did great. Jay Hernandez and Viola Davis stole the show from me. And let's go talk to Ian on line 1. Ian saw Suicide Squad. Ian, what are your thoughts?
Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller, James.
Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
I manage a movie theater, and Suicide Squad has been killing it like Deadpool attendance-wise for us.
Good.
Ever since Thursday night. I had a line out the door 100 yards last night. But the interesting thing is that it was only my 2D shows that were selling out. My 3D shows still had 50, 60 seats in them.
And see, I saw it in 3D for the preview, and I don't think the effects lend to themselves. I said that in my review, too. I don't think this is a movie that you need to see in 3D per se. I'm not sure if you saw it in both settings yet, if you'd agree with that statement or not.
Just theater checks. I didn't notice that, something like when we had Star Trek, obviously, the IMAX was the way to see that. But yeah, with this, it seemed a little darker, a little bit more intimate of a film, I guess. But I will say, if I had $10 for every young lady who showed up dressed as Margot Robbie last night,
yeah,
and, I took an informal poll amongst them, and 2 out of 3 Harley Quinns approved of the film.
Well, that's good. Seeing if Harley Quinn cosplayers approve of it, then it's got something going for it. I liked it. Like I said, I really did think it was a solid film overall. I hope it does as well as they're expecting.
Well, I'm glad that DC is starting to take some chances too, because they played it safe too long, and are now trying to play catch up with Marvel, I think. It
is, and that's kind of what Batman versus Superman felt to me. It felt rushed. It felt like they're trying to catch up. This Suicide Squad, I felt like they kind of toned it down a little bit. There was a little more humor injected into the movie. Like I said, it had parts where it hit and parts where it missed, in my opinion. But honestly, I think I liked it better than Batman versus Superman. And I think it's good that we're seeing more characters. That whole area of the film where Batman confronts Deadshot, that was fantastic. I love that. Those little elements like that were fantastic.
Yes, it's kind of the same reason why I like Legends of the DC Universe there. That's on the CW. That you get to see some of these different characters doing something different than, I'm going to fight the bad guy this week. Next week I'm going to fight another bad guy.
Yeah, the time travel aspect, they mixed it up there for sure, and a lot of other unknown characters. I think DC, that's another thing I'm not sure what's going on, because DC is knocking out of the park with their small screen stuff. They can't seem to find their footing with the big cinematic universe. But we are getting ready to head to break right now. Ian, thank you very, very much for calling in. Call anytime.
All right, will do. We'll see you.
Take care. That was Ian calling, and we are going to go to a break. I'm told we need to go, so stick around. We'll have Jeff Annison from Legion M on the phone with us after this. In just about 30 seconds. This is a new show, folks. Give me a break. Come on. But yeah, Jeff Annison from Legion M will be joining us here in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. It's all Geek to me. Welcome back to Geek to Me Radio right here on 1260 AM The Answer. We are going to be talking right now with our next guest, Jeff Annison, the co-founder of Legion M, which is the first ever fan-owned film company. Jeff, are you there? Do we lose Jeff? Hello, Jeff? Jeff, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
There we go. We got you. Perfect. Okay, my fault. I hit the wrong button. Sorry, it's a brand new studio, brand new show. I apologize.
No problem.
So tell us a little bit about Legion M. How would you sum it up?
Well, we are the world's first fan-owned entertainment company. What we're doing is we are creating movies, television shows, VR, etc. And for the first time in history, we're allowing regular, ordinary fans to contribute as little as $100 and become a co-owner of it. So it's kind of like Kickstarter. Everybody's familiar with that, but it's not donating in exchange for a T-shirt or a reward. Instead, you're literally investing to become a part owner of the company.
And I just saw, because I saw you guys first off on Facebook. It kind of popped up in my news feed. And I said, well, that sounded interesting. And I clicked on it and read through it. And I immediately subscribed to get all the updates and everything like that, because it sounds just really unique and fascinating. Like you said, it's the first place this has ever been done ever.
Yes. Yeah. It's been, it's funny. The idea has been around before. And one of the most common questions we get is, why hasn't anybody done this before? I mean, it seems like such a natural idea. And the answer is that it wasn't, frankly, it wasn't legal up until very recently. Securities laws, most of these securities laws, written back in the 1930s following the Great Depression, actually prevented this sort of thing where regular people could invest in a startup company. So it's only been within the past couple months that this has even been possible.
And I just saw an email update from you. I think it was the last email update I got. Stan Lee is involved.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing.
You can become a co-owner of a company with Stan Lee as well as Seth Green from Stupid Buddies and Stupid Buddy Studio, the guys behind Robot Chicken and Meltdown Entertainment and Alamo Draft House. These are all partners that have that are involved and are part of it. But we just announced it this week. Stan Lee is going to be the subject of one of our first projects, which is a virtual reality experience.
So you can virtually be Stan Lee and virtually create Spider-Man and X-Men movies and everything like that?
No. It's actually really cool what we're doing. Have you tried all the virtual reality technology, the new like Oculus and HTC Vive and all that sort of stuff?
I've seen it demonstrated. I haven't actually tried it myself.
Yeah, well, you should do it. I'll say the same thing to your listeners, is that it's really amazing, because virtual reality is something that I think everybody can understand and everybody can grasp and can see the potential. But when you try it on and you see how far the technology has come, it becomes immediately apparent why so many companies are investing literally billions of dollars into VR, and how it could potentially revolutionize everything, not just from as far as entertainment, like movies and gaming. I mean, those are two very obvious near-term areas, but also just communication in general. Facebook has made huge investments in virtual reality because they see the potential for, just communication, the ability to be virtually in the same room as somebody, or in some imaginary place. But in our case, what we're doing with Stan is really cool. We're basically filming him. We're doing an intimate interview with Stan, where we talk to him about his life and what he's learned and his, messages that he wants to pass on to future generations and that sort of stuff. But we're filming it with over 40 4K cameras that are pointed at him from like every conceivable direction. And what you end up with is an extremely high fidelity virtual representation of Stan that we can then put into a virtual world. And so when you put the goggles on, you can go in, you can get right up in Stan's face, and you can walk around him. And it's as literally as close as technologically possible to being in the room with Stan. And so, we're going to capture this interview with him, and we think it's the sort of footage that, we can ship to every corner of the globe, and people that would never have the means or opportunity to be in the room with Stan will now have an opportunity to be as close as you can get to being in the room with him. And hundreds of years from now, frankly, I mean, what if you could go back and spend an hour with William Shakespeare or Martin Luther King Jr. or something like that? So that's the whole idea behind the project. Stan is going to be the first of a whole string of subjects that we plan to do. We're going to, create this virtual reality library, and like I said, couldn't be more excited to, than to kick it off with Stan Lee.
It sounds like just the perfect storm too of like you said, all the laws have made this possible at the time. The technology is in place. It sounds like you guys are just like, you almost have lightning in a bottle here.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's a really special time in history, and the whole Jobs Act and the securities part of it is, I think, is really revolutionary. It's not really well understood, but basically what's changed is up until, literally months ago, if you were next door neighbors with Mark Zuckerberg, and, he came over one day and was telling you about his new startup company, and he's like, gosh, I really need $5,000 because I got to buy some servers. And he pitches you, he pitches you his idea, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I've got $5,000. I'd love to invest and be a part of it. Up until a couple months ago, unless you qualified as what's called an accredited investor, which means you have to have at least $1 million worth of assets or at least $200,000 a year of annual income. If you did not meet those criteria, you would literally be forbidden from investing. And so those laws have changed. And now for the first time, the general public has the opportunity to invest in these early stage companies like Facebook or Twitter or Legion M, or frankly, even like a bakery down the street. And so what it does is two things. It creates a real opportunity for these fans, the general public as investors, to get into these kind of high risk, high reward sorts of deals, right? The majority of startup companies go out of business.
Right, sure.
So, you need to know that going in, but the ones that make it go on to change the world. And, the people, if you had invested in Uber or Facebook when they were at our stage, even putting in $100, you could be looking at, 100, 1,000, even a 10,000x return on your money. So it's opening up this whole section of the economy for the masses, the 99% that literally before we were forbidden to do. But the other part of it is that it also allows models like Legion M, right? Our fundamental premise is that if we can have a legion of fans that are invested in our projects, whether it's this virtual reality project or a new movie or a TV show, that those projects have a competitive advantage when they come out, right? Because of the fact that now you've got a legion of fans that, they're going to come out and see it on opening day, and they're going to bring all their friends, and they're going to be talking about it on Facebook because they've been involved with this movie from the get-go.
Perfect. Jeff, let me stop you right there. We're going to go to a quick break. If you don't mind hanging out through this break, we'll come back with you at the next segment.
No problem.
All right, hang on. We'll be right back with more, talking with Jeff Annison from Legion M on 1260 AM, The Answer. It's all geek to me. Welcome back to Geek to Me Radio. Our guest this segment is Jeff Annison, co-founder of Legion M, the first ever fan-owned movie company. Jeff, thanks for sticking around a little bit longer with us.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. Where did the name Legion M, where did that come from?
Well, Legion, we wanted something that connoted this idea of a community coming together for a common cause. And so the M, actually, if you look at our logo, it's an M with a bar over it, which is the Roman numeral for 1 million. And that's because our goal, right, our long-term goal is to have 1 million shareholders in the Legion. We feel with 1 million shareholders, with 1 million fans behind us, there's literally nothing we couldn't do.
Am I able to ask you how many you currently have? Do you have a number?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we're in the middle of a fundraising round right now. It's nearing the end of it, but we've got 2,500 so far, and that's just been within the past month or two. So, every journey starts with the first step.
Absolutely.
But, so far, the reception has been fantastic, and the numbers are accelerating. And so we're really excited to see where we can take it.
So you've got room. If people out there who are listening right now want to get involved, what's the best way for them to do so?
The best way is to go to our website. It's just www.thelegionm.com. And you can join for free, actually. We've got an amazing community of people, these 2,500 shareholders. We've got probably another 4,000 or 5,000 people that have joined as members of this community. And we've got a private Facebook group that you get access to. We're building job boards, for people that are creatives, that are in the industry. We got a lot of fun projects that we're going to collaborate on. But you can go there, you can join for free, and you can see all the information about investing. The investing is going to be open for a very short period of time. I mean, it's a matter of days at this point.
Okay.
To get in on this round, which is the ground floor. And then later this year, we're going to open up a new round at a higher valuation, and we'll be raising. And like I said, to get 1 million shareholders in, we'll be open for the foreseeable future. But what will happen is that the price will just slowly, assuming everything goes well, the price will kind of increment up slowly as we gain traction.
So do it now is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, do it now to get in the ground floor.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to invest or you're not sure, come, join, be a part of the movement, because there's a lot of ways that you can participate, even if you don't want to, put money in.
Right, and you can tell your children if you invest that you started a company with Stan Lee and Seth Green, for crying out loud. How cool is that?
That's right. We like to tell people that, we're like investing in Disney, not now, but back when it was just Walt and Roy. And I think that honestly, even if you put $100 in, and if this does take off, the cachet of being a founding investor of the next big thing, it can go quite a long ways.
Absolutely. Jeff, thank you for taking time this afternoon to be on air with us. I greatly appreciate it. You can check them out at thelegionm.com if you want to get more information from them. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Well, that's very exciting. If you are at all interested in something like that, thelegionm.com. You can also follow them on Twitter as I do and on Facebook. Check them out. It's just an exciting time to be a geek. There's a lot of stuff happening out there, and that's just one of the things that we're going to be bringing you is stuff like that. This segment actually is brought to you by the Fantasy Shop, the official comic book store of Geek to Me Radio. The Fantasy Shop online.com. If you want to go on there, and they'll have all their locations and contact information. 4 locations around the St. Louis area. No matter where you are, you're probably close to a fantasy shop. St. Charles off of Zumbell Road, right there in the Deerbergs Plaza. South County on Baptist Church Road. Up in Florissant on North Lindbergh. And in Maplewood on Manchester. It's one of those places you go into any of the fantasy shop stores and there's a buzz. It's not like you're going into a store to buy something. There's this electricity you kind of feel, a little kick on the back of your neck in a good way. And they've always got gaming events. It's not just a comic book store. They sell games. They've got all sorts of stuff, collectibles. And you go in there and it's a great, the stores are laid out well. They're clean. If you're going to buy comic books anyway, you might as well go someplace where there's an experience of buying the comic books. And they've been in business since 1981. In this economy, any place that's been in business that long, obviously they're doing something right for a comic book store to be in business that long. Not only getting by, but thriving. 4 locations. Come on. Check them out. FantasyShopOnline.com, the official comic book store of Geek to Me Radio. I shop there, and they're a proud sponsor of the show. We are going to have more. We're going to have my friend BK on the air. We'll be talking to him. He's based out of Atlanta, Georgia, does a show kind of like this one. And we'll be talking to him coming up in the next segment. We'll have all that and more right here on 1260 AM The Answer, where it's all Geek to Me. Chippendale's Rescue Rangers theme song. That'll be stuck in your head for a while. I emailed Joey V the links for these, and I've heard this one. I've been singing it ever since. It's one of those kind of songs. Rescue Rangers. You're welcome, St. Louis, for getting that one stuck in your head. This particular segment brought to you by Hendel's Restaurant, located up in historic Florissant. They've got an incredible menu. They've got drink specials. It's in a historic building. The building was built back in 1873. Used to be a grocery store. It was converted in 1994 to a restaurant. They've expanded now with a piano bar and lounge. Gorgeous place to go eat. And the food is ridiculous. I know a lot of people, if you're in St. Louis, if you live in South County, I don't want to drive up to, or if you're over in Illinois, I don't want to cross the river. It's worth it. People need to get out more, get around. Downtown Florissant in the old French area. It's nestled back in there. They got a patio for outdoor dining, which tonight is going to be pretty nice weather. If you want to go out there and check them out, get a drink out in their patio or eat inside. Fantastic food. The raspberry pork is one of my favorites. And we just went up there this past Wednesday for their Wine Down Wednesday events. Half price on bottles of wine. Great appetizers. Their spinach artichoke dip. My wife said that is the best spinach artichoke dip she's ever had in her life. And she never lies. So check them out. HendelsRestaurant.com. Make sure to tell them you heard about it on Geek to Me Radio. And right now, speaking of fellow geeks, we're going to go over to the line here and talk to my buddy, my friend, BK. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good afternoon, James T. What's going on? You're sounding good, buddy.
Well, thank you. That's mostly because they have fancy mics in the studio. That's why I sound good.
That's great.
And we were just on your show earlier today, BK on the Air, based out of Cartersville, right there next to Atlanta. And you were telling me they've got auditions going on. They're casting people for the current filming of Spider-Man Homecoming.
That's right. They went out over projectcasting.com, and they were calling for high school student age folks. So I guess we wouldn't be able to pass that. We're not down there. But yeah, they're calling for them right now. They were filming in New Harley and Atlanta, Spider-Man Homecoming. I think Scarlett Johansson has been spotted in town, and Robert Downey Jr. definitely has been spotted in town. Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson. Wow. That's so cool. You guys are so lucky down there because you guys had The Walking Dead filmed down there. I think you said Stranger Things, the Netflix series, was filmed in that area. You guys have all the good stuff coming through there. Civil War, parts of that got filmed. The last Marvel movie.
Yeah, and part of me thought that part of Civil War, the big fight scene at the airport. Remember that scene toward the end?
Yeah.
Part of me was thinking they may have filmed that at the Atlanta airport on the south side, but they did not. They filmed that on the sound stage at Pinewood Studios here in Atlanta, and all behind them were huge green screens to fill in all the background back there, and that was incredible.
Yeah, I saw Facebook. Someone posted it, and I know I shared it on my Facebook page, geektomeradio.com/Facebook, or strike that, reverse it, facebook.com/geektomeradio. But yeah, they had all the green screen. It looked so cool, and then they show the green screen version, and you're like, well, that's not as exciting.
Right. I mean, they're all having to react to nothing or some big ball being thrown at them. And just a couple of months ago, they were in town in Cartersville, where our station is located, filming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yes.
And Kurt Russell was there, directed James Gunn. So we're pretty lucky. We got a lot going on in the Atlanta area in Georgia, and I'm glad to be right smack in the middle of all of it down here.
And you said your station is probably going to be featured in Guardians of the Galaxy. If you see the second movie coming up here, you guys actually, your windows from your studio got featured in the film.
It is. They turned downtown Cartersville into St. Charles, Missouri, for some odd reason.
What?
We had to dub Charles, Missouri. They didn't film it in St. Charles. They filmed it in our town. So, yeah, they changed the name of our radio station out front. It had to start with a K instead of a W since we were in Missouri, so they changed that. So I'm going to be looking for it when it comes out.
Okay, I'm gonna have to send James Gunn an email after this and find out why he didn't choose to film it here in the actual St. Charles, which is right up the road.
I know. I figured St. Charles, Missouri would look more like St. Charles than
one would think
Cartersville would. I don't get that.
Yeah, who knows? So what all have you got coming up? You're on the mornings, Saturday mornings. If people want to listen to you I always have the TuneIn Radio app to listen to you guys there on your radio station. What have you guys got in the works for next Saturday morning?
Well, I'm listening to you guys on TuneIn as well down here, and it's just weird. I just talked to you a few hours ago on the air. Now we're crossing the streams like Ghostbusters here.
Exactly.
And hey, I heard the Mortal Kombat music earlier, and that was really making me flashback. That was awesome.
I love that movie. It's a guilty pleasure. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie.
When I went to see Mortal Kombat, something was wrong with the theater, and they accidentally had the first movie. They accidentally had the volume turned all the way up in the theater, and our ears were bleeding like in 10 minutes after it was going on. We had to have them turn it down, and they wouldn't turn it down. I think they wanted to clear the theater out because they did. We had to leave.
That could be they wanted to shake the cobwebs loose. They didn't want to climb up on a ladder to get the corners of the ceiling, so they just figured they'd blast it out with sonics.
That's right. What was the one character you can play in the game with the big blades on his arm? What was his name?
That was Baraka.
Baraka. Yeah, that's the guy I always fought with, and I always did really well with him.
My friend Tony always played Baraka, and I lost no matter who I played. I'd try Sonya Blade, I'd try Liu Kang. I'd even get Goro when you unlocked Goro with the 4 arms, and Baraka would just kick my butt every time.
Well, we don't have much coming up just other than the regular stuff. I think I planned the show about 2 or 3 hours before we go on the air.
That's good. That's good.
I try to play. There's not a lot of planning going on, whatever's going on, but we'll have our usual flash in the audience of the weird, the strange, and the bizarre. We'll have all the geek headlines coming up that's going on in geekdom, kind of like you do. I love the way you do it, and it's great how we have both the mornings and the afternoons taken care of when it comes to Geek Talk, because with the TuneIn app and broadcasting the way we do on the Internet, you could be in the North Pole if you got a cell signal and you could hear us.
That's right. It's all geek to me. Well, we've got about a minute left, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure to be on the air with you and cross the streams, as the Ghostbusters say.
Thanks, dude, and we hope to see you down here at Dragon Con Labor Day weekend. I hope you can make it.
I hope so. We'll see you then. Thanks so very much.
Thanks, dude. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
See ya. It was BK on the air joining us from Atlanta. And we are going to be off right now. We're cutting a break. Oh, we're not. He was joking with me. Okay, we've still got 30 seconds. It's a little behind-the-scenes talk for you in radio world. Very quickly, I will let you know about Historic St. Charles. Check them out, historicstcharles.com. Very happy to have them on board. I've been working with them for over 16 years. They've got fantastic eating and dining. You don't need a TARDIS or a souped-up DeLorean to go back in time. Head down to historic Main Street in downtown St. Charles and check them out. Plan your trip at historicstcharles.com. We'll be back on 1260 AM. It's all Geek to Me on Geek to Me Radio.
Come join the Warner Brothers and the Warner Sister Dot. Just for fun, we run around the Warner movie lot. They lock us in.
Dot's the cute one. That's how you can tell them apart. Dot's the cute one. You watch the show, Animaniacs. Hope you're enjoying all these nostalgic theme songs I'm bringing you for our bumper music. I emailed them over to Joey V, and he got them all up and running in the system for me, so thank you again for all of that work. And once again, thank you to my sponsors, the Fantasy Shop, 4 locations in the St. Louis, St. Charles area, Fantasy Shop online, Hendel's Restaurant for just fantastic food and drink, hendelsrestaurant.com. Go up and see Nate and Christina. You will not be sorry. And of course, as I mentioned in the last break, historicstcharles.com. Plan your trip. All sorts of dining and shopping experiences around there. If you're a Doctor Who fan, by the way, and you'd love to have some jelly babies and jammy Dodgers, guess what? Historic St. Charles, you can find them there at the English shop on Main Street. It's another place to check out, historicstcharles.com. Thank you to all my sponsors. Thank you also, I'm not sure if he's listening, Randy Gray, who brought me into the fold here at 1260 Salem Media. Thank you to him, and thank you to Lori for picking up the baton and running with it and dealing with all my weird stuff and my enormous demands. There's actually a bowl of green M&Ms right here on the console in front of me because I said I only want green M&Ms in the studio. And Lori was like, whatever you want, we'll get green M&Ms. She even peeled them for me. So that was very nice too. Next week, we're going to have more going on at, I think it's either next week or the following week. We're going to have Chris Ryall, the COO of IDW Comics, because they've got a big event coming up in September for their Revolution. You want to check that out on the show. And we'll be talking about that. If you're an 80s fan at all, that'll be something you'll want to tune into. Thank you again to our sponsors. And thank you all for listening. We are going to have more fun next week. So tune in on 1260 AM The Answer for Geek to Me Radio, where it's all Geek to Me.
It's not in the way you watch I zombie.